This could easily be a quote-unquote letdown week or a quote-unquote letdown game for Colorado. There's many people, I'm talking about I've seen at least 5, 6, 7 people put Colorado on upset alert in this game. And you got to put yourselves in the players' shoes. You know what they're thinking heading into this game. Oh yeah, bro, we're playing Colorado State. They suck. Easy lick. This is an easy win.
I got this sauce for you, my boy. Zesty.
And just like that, we're back at it like a crack addict. It feels like I was just talking to you guys a few minutes ago, and in reality, it was only a few hours ago. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about or referring to whatsoever, that's fine. Your boy Matt's going to inform you. I said on this video right here, well, we posted this video, the scariest part about this Colorado football team, and I stated in this video, if we can get it to 600 likes within the first couple hours, we'll upload another Colorado video tonight previewing and predicting the Colorado State game. And oh my goodness, you guys got that video to over 2,500 likes in 3 hours. Hold on. Clap it up for our community. You guys, you never fail to leave me speechless. 2,500 likes in 3 hours. I don't even know what to say about that. And I don't even feel like I was underestimating y'all. I think 600 likes in 2 or 3 hours, that was a reasonable goal. I mean, don't get it twisted, guys. 600 likes in 3 hours, that's not an easy task, and we just crushed it. So a major shout out to each and every single one of you, and y'all know this, the only time we ever do like goals on this channel is to see if you guys want to see a video in the future. And considering we dang near triple, no, we quadruple the like goal, I think you guys want to see this Colorado State preview. And I'm glad you guys are excited to see it, and I hope you are as excited to get into this video as I am. I love talking about anything and everything college football. Love talking about all the different teams. You guys know this. But the one team I love talking about the most at this current point in time is the Colorado Buffaloes. I can't get enough of them. I can't get enough. And I think a lot of you are in the same boat as me. Before we get into this preview though, on the recent video we only posted a few hours ago, check out this comment because I think it's a great point. I failed to mention this and maybe we'll talk about this in the up and coming days or weeks. Doggy GZ stated, and thank you for the comment by the way, so many other best players haven't even touched the field yet. Ultimate Caskell, for those of y'all know, he's a great running back. Cormine McClain, 5-star recruit, we all know him. Omarion Miller, Javon Antonio, and a couple more. We do need to address that because as good as this Colorado team looks right now, they're not even at their full potential. And also one more comment, Branson Graves 2020 stated, Matt, we triple your like goal in 2 hours, and you're right. Continuing along here, and you can change your opinion on any team at any point in the season. We're here for it all. Thank you for that comment, Branson, and you know what? You're right, I can change my opinion. If you don't know what my man Branson's referring to here, he's referring to how a lot of people are like, oh, Matt, well, you switched up. Now you're meat riding this Colorado team. And yeah, you're right. I did switch up. I changed my mind on this team because they're better than what I thought they'd be. But to be honest, I think they're better than what 98% of people thought they'd be. Don't worry, we're not here to talk about that. That's a different conversation for a different day. We're here to preview this Colorado State game. And look, man, we ain't doing no intro, none of that. It's relatively simple. I don't want to be corny or cliche, but if you like the content, consider joining our amazing community. We'd love to have you here. We love talking about football, and we love talking about Colorado. And oh yeah, by the way, we're on the road to 300K. Consider helping us get there. If you do like college football content, you're in the right place, and I think you enjoy our channel and our community. And hold on. What is this? Big Red Chaos said, I really been enjoying the content. Keep it up. Hashtag MattBeBald. Okay, this is the last time I'm going to say this. How are you going to say you're going to put a nice comment, and I thank you for that, but then at the end you're going to ruin it and disrespect me and put hashtag MattBeBald? Like, what are we doing, man? That's like going up to somebody and say, hey, man, you got a nice car, and they say thanks, and you're like, oh, yeah, by the way, you're ugly. Like, what? And Jim Schultz put hashtag Bald Randy needs to be a thing. Okay, I ain't gonna lie, that's a good, I ain't seen that one yet, Bald Randy. Hey, man, don't get me started on White Randy, man. I got some stories from back in my day. Let's just say, you know, White Randy, his 7th grade PE class didn't mess around. All right. We ain't got time for a White Randy story. You know how those can be. I think we've jibber-jabbered enough. Let's get to the preview. So the Colorado Buffaloes, they're at an all-time high. They're 2-0. They're sitting pretty. They're sitting in prime position. And I didn't mean for that to be ironic, but it is what it is. Not only are they coming off the big-time win against TCU, a top 20 team, they also destroyed a fairly, I'm not going to call them decent, but they had some talent, a okay. Well, not really. Nebraska's trash. They destroyed Nebraska. Let's just leave it at that. I was trying my best to hype up the Nebraska win, but we all know Nebraska sucks. But like I was talking in the preview, that is a big-time historic rival game. And in rival games, I don't care how bad one team is. It's the same thing with Auburn, Alabama. Auburn can be 0-11, and Alabama can be 11-0. It's always, more times than not, going to be a close game just because of the history behind all of it. Same thing for the Nebraska game. I don't want anyone out here to discredit Colorado for destroying Nebraska. That was a solid win. And the reason it was so solid is because you didn't just beat Nebraska, you took the life out of them. You completely pummeled them and destroyed them. Final score wound up being, what was it, 36-14? Wasn't even that close. Nebraska got a late touchdown at the end. And if you're a Colorado fan, please do not overlook that win because, at least in my humble opinion, it was so impressive. And I know what some of you may be sitting there saying, well, Matt, why was it impressive to you? You even stated Nebraska sucks. And yes, you're right, but you got to remember, in that game, Colorado was favored. In that game, they couldn't play the underdog role because they was expected to win. And there's something to be said about a team that goes out there and does what they're supposed to do and takes care of business. Coach Prime had these boys ready to go, and they didn't have a letdown. It could have been an easy game to have a letdown in, but they didn't. So I was really proud of that Colorado team on Saturday. Looking ahead here, though, like I was stating, Colorado, they're 2-0, and Colorado State is 0-1. Let's not beat around the bush. Am I going to sit up here and try to hype up Colorado State? No, they're not good. They suck. Remember, when I say they suck, I'm not comparing them to your group of fives. I'm comparing them to your Power 5 teams. I'm comparing them to your USCs and Oregons of the world. Colorado State is not a good football team. Let's just leave it at that. This should be an easy win for Colorado, right? An easy win. You got a home game. You're 2-0. Colorado State's 0-1. And oh yeah, by the way, I hate this. I know some of y'all might not care, but I'm located in Alabama. I'm in the southeast. So to give you some perspective, I'm in the central time zone. And for me, I don't know how it is for West Coast. I think it will be 7. But for me, this game will be kicking off at 9 p.m. And think about this. If you're on the East Coast, which is Georgia, this is going to be a 10 p.m. kickoff. Whew, that's late. I mean, when I saw this game was kicking off at 9, the first thing I thought was like, man, I'm going to have to at least stay up till what, 12? Which I don't mind. I normally stay up till like 2 a.m. on my Saturday nights watching film, getting ready for a Sunday recap, but still, it's going to be a late one. And oh yeah, you already know, we do our live reactions to the game, so come on back for that right after the game. Anyways, though, it is a late kickoff, and I guess you could say it's a primetime kickoff. See what I did there? Because Deion Sanders, yeah, I know it was corny. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for that to come off corny. You get what I'm trying to say. Deion Sanders' nickname was Primetime, and they're playing at 9 p.m., which is primetime. Gosh, man, you gotta quit being corny and cringy. I know, I'm sorry. Anyways, it's a late kickoff, and man, I wish I could be playing tonight. I'm so ready for this game. Oh man, I can't wait to watch Colorado play. Let's pull it up. I would assume, yeah, they got it right here. Colorado is a 23-point favorite. And I'd say that's pretty fair, and as to where it stands, they got an 88% chance to win this game. We know what to expect out of Colorado. It's relatively simple. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. Colorado has a great offense and a not-so-great defense. That's really all there is to it. However, I will say the defense did impress me in that Nebraska game. But it's hard to judge and evaluate them because Nebraska's offense, you saw it. They can't even hike the ball without fumbling it. Nebraska's offense is terrible, so that's a bad metric to put them up against. And it's weird for me, at least, when trying to evaluate Colorado State because they've only played one game. In that game, they got completely destroyed by Washington State, but Washington State's a top 25 team. So here's where I'm at with Colorado State, and this is me personally. I know they're not good, but are they trash or are they slightly above trash? I have seen some other people talking about this game saying, oh, this could be a big letdown week for Colorado because remember, next week they're playing Oregon. And man, oh man, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but whew, that's going to be a matchup. You got top 20 Colorado versus top 15 Oregon. That's when we're really going to see if Colorado is the real deal or not, but we'll have to wait for that. And you know where I'm going with this, Colorado and college football fans. You know exactly what I'm about to say. This could easily be a quote-unquote letdown week or a quote-unquote letdown game for Colorado. There's many people, I'm talking about, I've seen at least 5, 6, 7 people put Colorado on upset alert in this game. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I understand it. I understand it 10,000%. Anybody and everybody who's kept up with college football, you know these teenagers and guys in their young 20s, They can't lock in and focus week in and week out. This is common knowledge. That is the hardest part about being a head coach, getting your players to lock in and focus every single week. Because believe it or not, even teams like Alabama and Georgia, they have letdowns. And normally, when do these letdowns happen? Not against your top 10 teams, against teams you should not only beat but destroy. Against teams that have no business even being on the same field as you. And that's how it is. I'm going to call it how I see it. This Colorado State football team doesn't even deserve to be on the same field as this Colorado team. Colorado has far more talent than Colorado State. But, and I have a big but, that doesn't mean it won't be a close game, and that also doesn't mean Colorado State can't win this game. And you got to put yourselves in the players' shoes. You know what they're thinking heading into this game. Oh yeah, bro, we're playing Colorado State. They suck. Easy lick. This is an easy win. You know that's what they're thinking. They may not be saying it, but it's what they're thinking, and that's human nature. Let me put this into a better perspective. If right now a guy rang your doorbell who's 4'5" and said, hey bro, let's play one-on-one basketball to 11, you're not going to take them serious, and you think it's going to be an easy win, right? My point is, when you know you should win the game and you know it's a weaker opponent, you don't tend to give your full effort and you tend to overlook them. So getting back on track here, yeah, I could understand people thinking Colorado might have a letdown, or maybe they will have a letdown. But at the same time, for me at least, I just don't see it. Because I've been watching Deion Sanders' teams ever since Jackson State, and very rarely, if ever, I can't even recall of them having a letdown game. The one thing about Coach Prime that you can promise and guarantee and count on is he is going to have his guys ready to play. I just have a hard time believing Deion Sanders isn't going to have these guys highly motivated and highly disciplined out there on Saturday. I'd be beyond shocked if Colorado didn't come out there with a fire inside of them. And you know why? It's because Deion Sanders, he's very smart. I know exactly what he's telling these guys. He is still telling his players, hey, the rest of the country, they don't believe in you. They're counting those Nebraska and TCU wins as flukes. They're saying, oh yeah, Nebraska and TCU, those aren't real opponents. Let's see what they do against USC and Oregon. So the one positive of this is Deion Sanders is still using that people are doubting us as fuel for his players and team, which I don't blame him. I'd be doing the same thing. And at this point in time, the message Deion Sanders is trying to get across to his team is they're not playing Colorado State on Saturday night. They're playing themselves. It's the same approach Nick Saban has had at Alabama for the past 15 years. And believe it or not, and people aren't ready for this conversation, but Deion Sanders is very, and I mean very similar to Nick Saban. They have extremely similar beliefs, and it's almost scary how similar they are when you break it down. He's telling his team to go out there and dominate. Dominate, dominate, dominate. That's what they're trying to do. They're not just trying to beat Colorado State by 10 points. They're trying to win by 100 points. You got to step on their necks and not give them any hope whatsoever. Because if you give this Colorado State team hope and belief that they can win, they might pull it off. But if you go out there in the first quarter and you jump out on them 21, 28 points and just keep the foot on the gas, or your foot on the gas, yeah, it'll be over. As you can see right here, and this is the bad news for Colorado State fans, you gave up 50 to Washington State. If you gave up 50 to Washington State, you can almost expect the same thing out of Colorado. My prediction for this game is eerily similar to the TCU game for Colorado's offense. I don't think Colorado State can stop, and I don't think they will stop Colorado on offense. Shedeur Sanders is one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and he's going to show why yet again on Saturday night. Everybody in the country is going to be watching him in a primetime game, and he's going to put on a show. Here's a fun fact for you. Colorado State, in that one game against Washington State, gave up a whopping 466 passing yards. 466. I guarantee you Shedeur Sanders, he watched that game, he watched that film, and he's licking his chops. Shedeur Sanders is going to light this defense up. There ain't anything they can do about it because Colorado State doesn't have a guy that can cover Travis Hunter. And even if you can cover Travis Hunter, you got to cover Xavier Weaver as well. And if you got two guys that can cover Hunter and Weaver, you also got to find a third to cover Jimmy Horn Jr. For Colorado State, unfortunately, the bad news is it's pick your poison. How do you want Colorado to beat you? Do you want them to throw for 500 yards or do you want them to mix it up a little bit? I don't know. That's going to be up to them. I just don't see any way, any shape or form they stop Colorado's offense. On the flip side of the ball, for Colorado's defense, I think the story's the same. Colorado's defense will give up points, but luckily enough for them, their offense is so good, they can give up at least 30 and they'll win. I know everybody's calling for it, but I don't see a letdown. I got Colorado winning this game in almost blowout fashion. I'm going to say Colorado 45 and Colorado State 21. This will not be a close game to the slightest of bits, and it probably will be worse than my score prediction. I wanted to say 52-21, but you got to take into account the new clock rules. So since the new clock rules are in effect, I'm going to say 45-21. Colorado gives up another late touchdown in the fourth. You could also see another score, and I wouldn't be opposed to this, 45-28, something like that. The score may be close, but I don't think the game itself will ever be in doubt. Colorado's too good, too fast, too athletic, and you also got to remember, they still have a lot to prove. They have something to prove. Remember, this is Deion Sanders' first primetime game at Colorado. I believe Deion wants to send a strong message in this game to the rest of the country. 45-21, mark it down. I'm not too sure if we're going to talk about Colorado again before Saturday night. If we don't, I'll see y'all on Saturday night for the live reaction. Always excited to do those videos. I think you guys like it, but I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts on this game down below. But,